Some people asked me why I always criticized Modi in India, questioning that I was worried that India would become a superpower under Modi's leadership and threaten China. Some people also said that I was morally noble and worked hard to publish videos to enlighten and save the Indian people. However, the fact is, my Chinese channel was considered reactionary by the National Security Police and strongly recommended that I shut it down. I especially like to make political videos, so after thinking about it, I decided to set up an English channel. I don't know why YouTube likes to push my Indian videos and ignore other topics that I think are good. I am not a noble person. I make videos for myself. I criticize Modi in India because there is traffic and it brings me emotional value. But I am a rational person and don't like to fabricate false information. Criticizing India is in line with my honest bottom line. I benefit myself without harming the legitimate interests of others, and there is a 1% chance of benefiting others. This is a very good choice. I was a little depressed after the closure of the Chinese channel, but the website I run has developed very quickly. However, I am not a very social person. Although making a website can easily use algorithms, it lacks emotional venting channels, which is not conducive to physical and mental health. More importantly, I like to brag and debate, so now the English channel has become the core of my work, and I put most of my energy into it. Well, the fact is clear. I never care whether India will threaten China, and I don't want to be the savior of Indians. I make videos to make money and live a decent life. I am never ashamed to admit this, because I don't need to rely on lies to attract viewers and maintain traffic. In fact, few people can do this. Most politicians we see in reality, such as Modi and Trump, have to rely on inflammatory speeches and lies to maintain their traffic. Once they stop lying, they will lose the election. For ordinary Indians, you can't change Indian society. The first thing to do is to keep yourself away from politics and religion and concentrate on personal development. More than 20 years ago, when I was still studying, Chinese TV stations repeatedly broadcast anti-American and anti-Japanese TV series. Unlike other friends who shouted slogans to kill all the Japanese and occupy the United States, I like to think further. Since the United States and Japan are so bad, why do we Chinese regard studying or traveling in the United States and Japan as something worth showing off? Many of my relatives are proud to go to Beijing and Shanghai, but I have never heard of them being proud to go to our village. I guess the status of the United States and Japan in the world is equivalent to the status of Beijing and Shanghai in China, and the status of China in the world is like the status of our village in China. No one will be proud to come to China, which is a poor and backward place. If we live in a worse place, what we should do is to build our own country well, rather than destroy the good life of other countries. What benefits can defeating the United States and Japan bring me? I would rather have a good relationship with the United States and Japan and have the opportunity to use their second-hand home appliances that have been eliminated. Fortunately, although our political teachers will read out the anti-American ideas in the textbooks and criticize American imperialism, they usually tell us that the United States is a highly developed society and is the object of our Chinese learning. Americans invented computers and the internet. Every American family has a computer and a car. If we study hard, get into a good university, and can go to the United States, Europe, Japan, and other developed societies to study abroad, it will be the best opportunity to change our destiny. The teacher told every student the truth, but only a few people can do it. My elder sister, because of her excellent academic performance, was fortunate to have the opportunity to study in Hong Kong and the UK, and thus changed her fate. She is a very successful partner in a large company, and she is also very patriotic. But if she has to choose between loving the country and loving me and her children, she will choose family without hesitation. Because national honor and collective honor are essentially a kind of emotional identification, they must be subject to the more important family affection. Since national honor is an emotional identification, it should be two-way. The premise of your love for the country is that the country also loves you. The country provides favorable conditions for your survival and development, and your love for the country can be rewarded. The essence of human nature is selfish. Being able to be self-interested without harming the interests of others is already a moral example. Most people cannot do this, so we need laws to constrain people's behavior. Those politicians who claim to have no selfish desires and serve the people wholeheartedly are all liars without exception, such as Hitler, Stalin, and Modi. The common feature of these people is that they kidnap the people through national honor and collective interests and make them submit to their authority. Hitler and Stalin are old liars, but Modi is a modern liar. He constantly calls on Indians to follow him in various fanatical actions with the slogan of reviving Bharat and promoting Hinduism. This man, who is unwilling to take responsibility for his own wife, claims to take responsibility for 1.4 billion Indians. This man, who can't even feed Indians and provide them with toilets, claims to make India a technological and military power. As the Prime Minister of a country, he does not promote the construction of solar power stations, but constantly attends sacrificial activities in Hindu temples. He does not unite hundreds of millions of Muslims, but incites religious confrontation for votes, causing an irreconcilable rift between Hindus and Muslims. When hundreds of millions of Indians living in slums in India are struggling in the 45 degrees Celsius heat in summer, he and Ambani, Adani, and other world's top billionaires are talking about India's rise in air-conditioned rooms, while his generals are spending tens of billions of dollars to buy fighter jets from France and get huge kickbacks from them. What I want to ask is, even if such an India becomes a superpower, what does it have to do with you ordinary Indians? Do you have sufficient meat, milk, eggs, vegetables, and fruits like the Chinese? Do you have cars, refrigerators, washing machines, air conditioners, LED TVs, and computers like Chinese families? If India surpasses China, will you get the same social status as Brahmins? I don't care at all that the Chinese government is touting on TV that the opening of Peru's Chancay port marks a major victory for China's One Belt, One Road strategy. What I care about is that cherries, which were very expensive before, are much cheaper now. I don't care about any major breakthroughs China has made in South America. What I care about is that Argentina's beef is really cheap. For beef and cherries, I support the Chinese government's One Belt, One Road initiative because my son really loves beef and cherries. What I want to ask is, those Indian netizens who keep defending Modi, you have supported Modi and BJP for more than 10 years. What have you gained? When you hysterically prayed for the success of space docking under ISRO's tweets, what did you want to gain? What if the docking is successful? It is far inferior to China's space docking more than a decade ago. What can you get except being ridiculed by other countries? If you have this time, shouldn't you watch more of my videos and fix the broken parts of your brain? Modi has hundreds of millions of fanatical fans. You are not important. But your family really needs you to work hard and earn money to improve their living standards. Aren't you ashamed?